Unscripted, unfiltered, unafraid. Welcome to the new Macworld podcast. I'm Michael Simon, joined as always by my esteemed colleague Jason Cross.
Hey, Mike, how you doing today?
Good. And producer Roman Loyola.
Ahoy there.
All right, before I forget, this is podcast number 947. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And we're recording, so it's Friday, August 15th. We usually record the podcast on a Tuesday, barring like an Apple event or something. Today, we're recording it on Friday, August 15th. So if something crazy happens in Apple land between the 18th and the 20th, and you're expecting to hear about it, that's why. It's because I'm going on vacation next week and I won't have access to all of this equipment. I'm taking a trip down with my family. My wife and my 13-year-old son were going down to Pennsylvania to watch the Little League World Series.
Oh, I knew it was basable related. It had to be. Yeah. I was like,
I only wear a
Mike's
baseball
like, I'm
hat
going on
every single
vacation.
week.
I'm like, oh, what baseball thing are you doing?
Yeah, we've been doing this for 5 years. I think this is the fourth year. And my son's 13 now, so at 12, for anyone who doesn't know, you age out of Little League at 12. So my wife and I weren't sure if he would be like, "No, that's too baby for me."
What's between that?
He's into it.
He's like, it's not high school ball. Like, is there
Not
just
yet.
a league that's between?
Yes. So, I mean, there's various leagues you can sign up for. We're lucky in my town. There's like it's called the transition thing. So all the high school coaches kind of get together and work with the middle school kids because there's no middle school team. And they prepare them for high school, basically. So that's what he's doing now. But like it's this big, giant baseball field. He went from this tiny little League field. If you watch it on TV, it's small. And now he's on like he could walk into like Fenway Park and it's the same field. So they all look so small. But it's been fun and it's a fun trip. It's all televised, so you guys can people can watch it on TV. These kids are amazing. Like there's a Chinese Taipei kid that throws like 82 miles an hour. And it's like, man, it's crazy.
And he's 12, right? Like,
and he's 12. Was supposedly 12.
Oh, I've seen,
I
don't watch the Little League Series, but I've seen the clips and stuff. And I'm like, those are not 12-year-olds.
Some of them are huge.
Yeah. Some of those kids are like easily bigger than most 16-year-olds.
For sure.
And, like that one has a mustache. Like, come on.
You're right, like a full beard. It's like shaving on the mound. So are you guys? August is a great month for us as Apple people to take vacations. Are you guys doing anything this month, last month, next month?
No, it's hot. I'm taking care of chores and stuff around here. Like that's the main. Yeah,
it's like 190 degrees in
Sacramento.
Little
Staycations. We're not going anywhere to, it's also hard because like it's a good time for me, but my wife is slammed with work right now.
That's true.
And stuff. And then she's got stuff coming up. So yeah, we're not going anywhere. Roman, you going anywhere?
I am going for 4 days. I think like in not this week, the next weekend, I think, or maybe it's the weekend after. It's my wife's aunt's 80th birthday.
Oh.
And she's having a party, and she lives in Hawaii. So I'm going to Hawaii for 4 days.
Oh, that's too bad.
Oh,
I know. Shucks. She was like, come to my party. And I was like, oh, we have to go to Hawaii. So,
I don't have any relatives that live in any exotic places. That's why I'm going to Pennsylvania.
Yeah. But, I mean, we usually go to Hawaii. Like, my long story short, my wife's family has Hawaiian roots. They're not native Hawaiian, but like I just said, her aunt lives there. So she goes to Hawaii like sometimes as much as 3 or 4 times a year.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I try and piggyback on one of those trips.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I went to Hawaii once in my life a couple years ago, and it's like the most magical place in the world. Like we literally showed up and it was like 80 degrees and there was like a rainbow outside of our hotel. Like, man, like, this place is amazing. It's just gorgeous.
You know where there's a rainbow? In the middle of Apple Park.
It's true, actually. What a segue.
You can't take the transition out of the out of the host.
So
so here we go. We're going to talk about this week. So this week, but it's actually last week when you guys are listening to this, there was Apple accidentally published like a document on its developer site or someone at Apple, not like Tim Cook, I don't think. And people are able to like dig through it to find out a whole bunch of leaks about future products. Some were leaked by Mac Rumors, some by our own Felipe Esposito, and we're going to get into all of it. Talk about what it means. Talk about what could happen, what won't happen, what's likely to happen. It's going to be a fun show, and we're going to have a couple of segments that we introduced last week. This week we're going to talk about what we're watching on Apple TV Plus. Talk about this week in Apple history, and as always, close things out with our mailbag of reader comments. Speaking of which, Roman, I'm going to steal this from you for a moment. You can contact us, Blue Sky, Facebook, Threads, type in Macworld, and if there's a bunch of them, you can look for our little blue mouse logo. That's the best way to get in touch with us these days. So, leaks. Like we're used to writing about this stuff all the time, but occasionally like something like this happens and like it just kind of blows my mind. I was talking to Felipe as he's writing these, and I thought when leaks like this happen, somebody contacts someone and they're like, "Oh, look, I have this stuff here."
Yeah.
But it was literally like it was a document that was accidentally published on Apple's developer site with just a bunch of gobbledygook of code. And if you know what you're looking for, code names, like chip strings.
Yeah,
you can really find out what's happening.
It had the product code names, which are usually like J234 and stuff like that we just know from other information and other leaks what product that is. And then they had the code names for like the processors that they use, which we just know from other products that are released that have those products and stuff like that. So we actually, you can put them together and go like, oh, this is like a whole bunch of future products and the processors that they use.
Right. That's what a lot of this was. And so like a normal person would look at this and be like, like, what does this even mean?
Yeah. What does
Broadway
mean?
People who are like invested in this stuff, like they know like T3397X refers to like this chip and things like that, or this core or whatever it is. So we're gonna look at three different sections today. The first is going to be there's a bunch of like minor updates that we probably assumed were coming. Mac Rumors contributor Aaron Paris kind of collected a bunch of these, and I'm going to run through them really quick, and then we'll talk about them. So a new HomePod Mini with an S9 or an S10 chip, Apple TV with an A17 Pro chip, Apple Studio Display 2 with an A19 chip, or that could be actually an A19 Pro chip. We're not sure about that. iPad Mini with an A19 Pro chip, entry-level iPad with an A18, Apple Vision Pro with an M5, and an Apple Watch, or probably several Apple Watches with, it would be an S11 chip, but the identifier was kind of the same as the S10.
Which is the same as the S9.
Which is the same as the S9. All right, so let's start there. New Apple Watch is coming this, couple weeks, probably September. Ultra 3, Series 11, and probably an SE3 at this point. And so according to this rumor, an S11 chip that's basically a renamed S10, which is basically a renamed S9. And Jason, you can explain, but like we've seen this before from Apple. Like they do this with the Apple Watch.
God, did they do this? I think the S4 and S5 are the same chip or something like that. But the S9 was a big improvement in that they had a couple of neural engine cores in there.
Yep.
And it doesn't do Apple Intelligence stuff, but it lets them in a very low power way do things like run little machine learning models about like wrist movement and stuff. Yep. And that's why that's the cutoff for features like the finger tapping thing or the new in watchOS 26, there's like a wrist, you could turn a wrist like that to like stop a timer or something, which is actually very useful because the stop timer button is this little button in the corner. but or stop an alarm or do any of those kinds of things. So it doesn't really need to be a new chip. Like nobody's going, gee, I wish the Apple Watch was more powerful. We just need more battery life. And that could be what these are. They could be refinements in manufacturing technology, but not really in the chip's capabilities. It's about time the HomePod gets one.
It doesn't talk anything about like the size of the battery. Like maybe they're increasing that. The type of display. Like there's a lot here. All this is literally telling us is that it has this chip. Like it doesn't, whatever inside is our own right now.
Yeah. The HomePod Mini has an S5. I mean, an S5.
Roman, can you look up real quick? How old is the HomePod Mini at this point? Because it's been a while. It was never updated. So the one we have is the original one they released, and it's been a bunch of years. So it runs an Apple Watch chip right now, which is, as Jason said, the S5. Mm-hmm. And like, what would a new chip bring to a little speaker?
I think the idea is that, I mean, they chose that chip because it's super power efficient and all it needs to do is play up a music and run on mics and stuff. I think having the neural engine cores in there, they're not going to be able to run major Apple Intelligence models. They don't have the RAM. I don't think it would run onto, but it doesn't have a screen or anything. So it doesn't need to run any of the models that have to deal with recognizing images or anything like that. Like it's not going to be like going through your photo library and going like, what's a picture
visual
of a dog?
Intelligence? Yeah.
Yeah. So it could get Apple Intelligence features or in an update maybe next year or something that only have to do with talking and voice type stuff. And other than that, all it's going to do is give it a better capability to maybe understand your speaking and voice. We don't know what other upgrades it'll get. Maybe it'll get a different microphone. You wouldn't know unless you took it apart and look what the part is inside. So, the new S chip, I just think maybe they just don't want to manufacture S5s anymore. Like that's the other thing. Like how long is Apple going to keep manufacturing an old chip just to make HomePods?
Yeah, right. And so the big HomePod, which is the second generation, that's powered by an S7 chip. This leak didn't mention that, but I have to assume if the HomePod Mini is getting an upgrade, the larger HomePod would get one as well, even if it's just to match the chip. I mean, again, I don't know what, like anyone who uses the HomePod, I use the HomePod Mini as my Mac speakers, and they're great. Mm-hmm. Like I never say I wish this had a better chip. I might say I wish it had better bass. I might say I wish it had, volume or something, but like the chip is basically meaningless for the HomePod in from what I care.
Yeah, I don't remember if HomePod Minis can be home hubs for Apple Home stuff. I know the large HomePod can be, and so it has more need to have more processing and RAM and storage and stuff like that.
HomePod Mini can be a home hub. I just looked that up.
So that's just another reason. I mean, it's not just the neural engine cores. From an S5 to an S9 or 10, there's a lot more CPU power and stuff like that. So it could also just have to do with it being a more capable home hub. And it's not going to really have anything to do with specific HomePod features. It's just going to be a better home hub when you have a bunch of smart home stuff going on in your house.
There's a lot of rumors about smart home stuff that, that could
future Apple smart
tie
home
into
stuff.
that. Yeah.
Cameras and all that other kind of stuff. Most of the other things you mentioned, like that Apple TV with the A17 Pro and all that all makes sense. That's all just chip it upgrades. We've seen these before. It doesn't mean they're like suddenly going to take on PlayStation or anything like that. They're not priced that way. It's not going to happen. Just forget it. I find it very interesting that the Studio Display 2 would have an A19 or A19 Pro in it. Just like the current Studio Display has an iPhone chip in it from whatever whatever year that was, but it has like a lot of RAM and storage. Like it has a whole iPhone inside.
It does. It's basically like an iPad. Yeah.
Right. Everything except for the radios. So I really wonder if they're going to kind of take that lesson with Studio Display 2 and go like, maybe we should just put a Wi-Fi antenna in this thing.
We've talked about that so many times, yeah.
And just let it be an Apple TV or a wireless display, or take AirPlay stuff or something. Yeah, it just seems like an awful waste of power to have that much capability when it's really kind of a dumb display. It does. Yeah, I think it does some of the processing to hook it up to a Mac. Camera. Yeah. I think it does some of the camera pre-processing stuff. Maybe a little of the audio processing. You don't need any of this. This is a product that could have the S series chips in them for sure.
For sure.
So,
so the current one runs an A13. So this would be a pretty big upgrade.
It'd be a huge upgrade. Yeah. Like a massive neural engine and all this stuff. And for what? So like
it already does spatial audio. It already does like the all the things you would need a display to do. It has a camera. Like what would they be adding that needs an A19 or an A19 Pro chip? I have no idea.
Yeah. Again, I don't think they want to keep manufacturing old chips forever, but they're going really high with it. So I just can't wait to see what they do. And I hope that I hope it's just not like the current studio display, but just like, oh, it's a little brighter and the camera's better. Like, I hope they get software-wise, make it do something.
Yeah. Especially since, like, if these are all accurate, and it has an A19, that's faster than the rumored Apple TV. That's faster than the rumored iPad. Like, that's a choice.
Right.
Like, we wanted to have this chip. So speaking of the iPad, that's rumored to get the A18, which is what we thought it was going to get this year.
Yeah,
because A18 is basically the bare minimum to run Apple Intelligence. That's the iPhone 16 has an A18, and that's unless you get that, unless you're using a Pro chip, the A17 Pro is the first chip. The A18 is the first non-Pro chip to run Apple Intelligence. So it makes sense. I don't know why Apple shipped another version of the iPad that didn't run Apple Intelligence. It doesn't make a ton of sense to me. But is it important? Is anyone buying an iPad going to care that they get Apple Intelligence?
I think as they go on, it's going to matter more. And I think maybe some of it might just be like an issue of like RAM and stuff like that. Like, just long-term support for these things.
Yeah.
I think they make the decision long ahead of time about the cost of the chip to manufacture because this is like a really cheap product for them and stuff. So it's not surprising. None of the rest of these are surprising, really.
Agreed. Yeah.
Like an Apple Vision Pro with an M5. We've heard they're doing this second gen Apple Vision Pro that has we've heard M4 before, but M4,
we've heard all of them, I think, yeah.
Right. This is still going to be a super expensive one that's very similar to the current one. It's probably just internally a little simpler to manufacture for Apple, but they just need it to be to continue its status as this high-end, high-power product. This isn't the next generation of Vision Pro, like the next thing that they do.
Just a refresh.
Yeah, it's a refresh to keep it as something worth $3,500 for people.
As the only one of us who uses one on a regular basis, like, do you ever think that the M2 is too slow? Does it will it benefit from an M5?
Like I don't know. It has multiple different chips in it, and I don't know which things are being done on which chips. No, right. I don't ever use it and go like, oh, this is too slow. But then again, I don't use it for anything.
Right.
Like I'm not doing CAD work. Like I'm not doing like high-end engineering 3D model, whatever. Yeah. It's like watching videos and stuff.
Right.
Like it's just not as on a consumer grade level, like it's just not underpowered at all. So yeah, I don't know.
So those are the expected bunch of things. Like as Jason said, no surprises there. But so Felipe Esposito, our freelancer contributor, dug up some things that were surprising. And the first one is a new Mac Pro, which it desperately needs an update because it's currently runs an M2 Ultra, which is and I'm going to ask this to Jason. I'll ask it to you now before we get into it. But the chip numbering thing, like, is Apple going to have to change this at some point? Because the M2 Ultra is a very, very fast chip. It's faster than M3, faster than an M4. But if you're buying a Mac Pro and you see M2 Ultra, it feels old. It feels like you're getting something inferior. And, it is older, but it's still a fantastic chip. Do you think at some point Apple is going to just start calling these chips Ultra, Pro, and we won't know the numbering?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it matters too much because the only place this crops up is with the Mac Pro. Like the Mac Studio uses Pro and Max chips. It has used Ultra chips, but right.
They use it's an M4 Max and an M3 Ultra
and an M3 Ultra.
Yeah.
And it's like they're skipping M4 Ultra. Right. I guess.
So that leads us to this rumor.
What are they doing?
We thought they were skipping the M4 Ultra, but according to Felipe, they are working on a Mac Pro with this code name Hydra chip. And we know from previous rumors that Hydra, Hydra, not the Marvel Hydra, is attached to the M4 family. So that would be an M4 Ultra. Now,
which is two M4 Maxes stuck together. That's kind of what the Ultra chips are. Is like two of the Max chips on an interposer fused together, kind of. That's going to be a super fast chip. It's going to be faster than It's going to be faster than an M5 Max would be.
Yep.
I think in the price stratus that this shows up in, assuming it's just in the Mac Pro and maybe it'll come to the next Mac Studio update, because they do Ultras in Mac Studios. I don't think there are enough people who care, who are buying this thing and don't know. At that point, you know what you're getting. You're going to spend $8,000 on a Mac, or more. So
do you think?
I don't think they're going to change things.
So we thought the M4 family was done. They came out with the M4 Max, I don't know 4 months ago or something, and we just assumed they were done because all the rumors now are M5. Mm-hmm. It looks like we're going to get the M5, the M5 Max, and the M5 Pro, and then maybe sometime in early next year they'll come out with the Mac Pro with an M4 Ultra.
Okay,
and I think you just answered the question I was going to ask. People are still going to say, well, we don't the numbering is the numbering is incidental. This is a ridiculously fast chip. This is what I want. And if I want this machine, I don't really care what the chip is named.
Yeah. I don't think anybody buying a Mac that expensive is going to go, I don't understand the difference between an M4, whatever. They're just going to look at the benchmarks and go well, gosh, it's the fastest. Sure is a lot faster than the old M2 one.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy fast chip.
Yeah, it's going to be fast.
96 gigs of RAM and 30 cores or whatever. It'll be able to it'll blow away the M2 Ultra for sure. And the M2 Ultra is basically the fastest chip. It's close, but it's if with the right benchmarks, it's still faster than the M4 Max.
Yeah, you get the M4 Maxes where you start to get to some if you look at certain things, it's faster. Single cores.
Depends on what benchmark
for what you're doing,
and what you're running.
Yeah, I don't think that one's a big deal. I kind of expected it would be weirder to me if the M5s would just drop and then they're already ready with an M5 Ultra, because those are really complicated chips to make. They're very, very expensive to make. They don't want to waste a lot of the sort of wafer runs and silicon space and stuff on these low yield, super high end, super expensive things they don't sell many of. So I'm not too surprised.
I always wonder. I wish Apple told us how many Mac Pros they sell.
I know.
Is it 10? Or is it a few thousand? I at this point, how many people are rushing out, or not even rushing, but going out to buy an M2 Ultra Mac Pro for $6,000, starting at $6,000.
It's few enough that they make them in the U.S.
In the U.S., yes. Austin, Texas. Yeah, it's true. So the most exciting of these leaks by far is also by Felipe Esposito, found references to a MacBook Pro running an M5 Pro processor and using a Centauri modem, which we know from previous leaks matches up with Apple's C1.
Yep.
So what that means for people who care, that there could be a 5G MacBook Pro at some point. Something we've been waiting for basically forever. There's never been a MacBook with cellular connectivity ever. Like you could do it, but
we speculated that this low-cost A18 based MacBook that's allegedly also coming, like, well, gosh, if it's got an A18 in it and stuff, maybe they'll just essentially have the whole iPhone inside, like, and it'll have cellular, and maybe it will. We don't know. This code leak didn't capture that product.
We didn't have any. There was no reference to that MacBook. Interestingly enough.
and a ton of other products. Like, it's just not part of this thing, right? So, but it is interesting that they're before the C2 putting this in something. I always thought that, like, as they're making their own cellular chips and it becomes cheaper for them and they can really manage the power, and eventually we'll build it into the SoC. Like, you'll just the A21 will just have the cellular modem built in or whatever. And some M series chips. Like, eventually this is going to be the thing. All of the Macs will have a cellular option, just like iPads do, that you pay $100 more for. And you know, it's always been weird to me that you could do this on your iPad and not your MacBook.
Basically every product but the Mac.
Yeah.
Would you pay for it, Jason?
No, not because I'm on Wi-Fi all the time and stuff. So it's not for me. People whose jobs take them around to places. Salespeople. Yeah. My neighbor used to do interior, like, blinds and stuff like that. So she worked for a sales company that sells sort of blinds and window treatments and all that stuff. So she would go around to people's houses with all these samples and stuff, but she would also, like, show them the product stuff on the computer and all this. And they usually had an iPad. I can imagine it would be and she also had a MacBook, because they ran a lot of their software on there, and it would be super handy for her or an insurance claims adjuster or any of these other people who go around places to just have internet everywhere they go.
Right.
On a MacBook.
On a MacBook, yeah.
Yeah. That I think will, Roman, I think it'll be popular.
Would you buy one, Roman? Would you want one?
I go back and forth on that. I don't find myself in situations where I need internet and I can't get it some way. I always, I can always resort to tethering to my phone.
Yeah.
So it's, maybe if I was like a photographer or a videographer who's on location a lot, I would want it. I don't think I personally need it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would need it either. Like, I do like the idea of being able to go wherever I want and having access to high-speed internet without tethering, because tethering is an option. I don't know how many people do it, and it's a pain in the ass, and it's wonky, and using your iPhone data and everything. It's not
too slow. Your iPhone data, and your plan may only limit your speed or whatever. But Apple does make it really easy. It's just right there in your Wi-Fi menu. If you're not connected, but you have a phone nearby that is, it'll just show up there.
It'll show you.
You just select it, and you're done. It's great. But there's issues with, like, does my plan support it? Is it slow? Is it throttled and all that other kind of stuff? Data limits.
Yeah, and like, it would be it seems logical. There's got to be a reason why Apple hasn't done it, and I have to assume it's because of battery is the number one. Is that, I guess, although it works on, what I don't understand is if it works on the iPhone, it lasts about the same as a Mac. Well, less. Like Macs will last way longer when you talk about the course of a day of use. Like, why hasn't Apple so far put 5G into a Mac? Like, I don't get it.
It's weird they do iPads. They're not, like, concerned about it destroying iPad battery life. So I'm just, I think it's some of it's a cost thing. Some of it's just whether they control the stack.
They could charge $120 for it like they do everything else.
No, I know. And it's added to the stack of things that Windows laptops have had forever. Sure. That just, I don't know why Apple doesn't do this, and people always ask for it, and it doesn't. They just never do it.
I know. It's and you bring up the iPad thing. Since day one, iPads have had an option for cellular for $129, I think, extra on top of it. Apple Watches have it. Obviously, it's in your iPhone. Everything, it's all like the technology is all there. The ability is all there. They just decided we're not going to do it. We're not going to put it in the Air or the Pro, and that's it.
I think it's interesting that, like you bring up the Apple Watch, and there are people who definitely want it on the Apple Watch because they want to make a phone call, right? And there's a way to like kind of tie it to your existing phone's number. And it's like, but I'm out running without my phone, but I still want to get a text message or a phone call or stream music, which I think that's a terrible just waste of cellular data. But if some people want to do it, now that it's not lost on me that macOS 26 has the phone app,
right?
Like they're moving in that direction of, well, if it had cellular, what would you get out of it besides just opening your web browser and having an internet connection? So like it could be the same sort of situation. Like I can get phone calls.
That's a really good observation.
Like I don't know why you have your MacBook and not your phone around, but you could. There you go.
Yeah, no, that's excellent because like you're right. Before you could make FaceTime calls, but you couldn't make like actual phone calls on your Mac, and now you'll have all of that stuff at your fingertips. You can receive and make calls. Yeah, that's an interesting thought.
Yeah, maybe that's part of why they're doing things like putting the phone app on Macs is because they know they've got cellular Macs on the way.
So yeah, like all these leaks, again, like we don't know what's coming, if they're coming. These are just things that Apple is actively developing. Most of them seem pretty obvious. Like we're probably going to get a new iPad with an A18 chip. We're probably going to get an Apple Vision Pro with an M5 chip next year. The Apple Watches will probably have an S11 chip that won't be that much different than the S10, like they make sense. But the Mac Pro and the cellular MacBook, I'm intrigued to see, what Apple does in the next, I guess, like 6 months, 8 months, something like that. We'll see.
Yeah, I would imagine nothing out of this leak is more than say 6 months out.
I would think,
nothing is like a fall next year kind of thing. And I mean, they're all pretty solid because this comes from Apple. It's not somebody who has the guy they know in the supply chain or whatever. This is, this is a whoopsie Apple leak. Right. So things do get canceled, but this is all stuff that really is going on within Apple.
Yep. And, interesting, no iPhone reference in this document either. So that must be a separate thing some separate code document that they use just for the iPhone.
There's a lot of stuff not in here. There's no iPad Airs or any of that kind of stuff. Like there's just a lot that's just not in here.
Yep. But we're going to be looking out for it. I mean, next month we have the iPhone event, probably something Mac related right after that. So we might be seeing these things pretty soon. HomePod Mini has been rumored for the fall. Apple TV has been rumored for the fall. Obviously, Macs can come at any point. So we'll be looking out. But this is just, this is when like our job is fun. When we get all this stuff dropped in our lap in the span of like 4 hours. You should have seen all the messages I was sending back and forth with Felipe. He's like, oh, I found this. I'm like, oh. I'm like 8 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, we have a ton of stories. 3, 4, 5, maybe several stories on Macworld.com. Roman will put them in the show notes as he does. And, check them out and we will see what's right, what's wrong, and when everything's coming soon. So our first segment is I want to call it what we're watching on Apple TV Plus, but I'm going to immediately not do that because I don't have I ended up watching on Apple TV Plus. So we're gonna call it like what's
on?
Good. What's on? Yeah. What's on
Apple TV?
What's on Apple TV Plus? And I'm gonna start with Roman. Roman, what are you interested in on Apple TV Plus these days?
So I recently finished watching Murderbot. It is it's a science fiction comedy show. The premise is, I think it's Peter Skarsgård, I believe is the name of the actor. Yes.
There's like 13 different Skarsgårds in acting.
Yes, that's why I was wondering which one I got. He plays a robot who has figured out how to become, I don't know if sentient is the right word, but he's essentially overcome his programming, so he becomes somewhat more autonomous and start to think for itself, I guess.
He hacks his way past his, I think they call it inhibitor module or something.
Yes.
Basically, the thing that makes it so that they have to follow orders and not act like they feel pain and all this other stuff.
Right. And he's a security robot. So he's usually often tasked to do, he's a security guard essentially, but he's more than that. He's more like a special agent assigned to certain task, and he gets assigned to this group of researchers that get on his nerves constantly, to put it lightly. And so it's about him. We're calling him because he's a robot, but he is played by a male.
Yes.
It's kind of weird. Anyways, it's played by this. You get to see this robot interacting, come to like a self-realization of who he is as he interacts with this group. I know it doesn't sound that exciting as I describe it.
It's a comedy.
It's a dark comedy. It's kind of
It's a very dark comedy. So you have this robot, he's basically has this person, he doesn't really have a personality, he's trying to develop it, but he has these opinions of humans as he's interacted with them in the past. But then you have this group of researchers that are at the risk of getting in trouble. They're somewhat woke.
They're hippies. They're space hippies.
That's a good way to put it. They're space hippies.
Yeah.
And they get on his nerves sometimes, but then he comes to having this develop this attachment for them, and he can't figure out why. So it's a very good show. It's at one point I was getting a little annoyed with the hippies, and then there's this scene that happens, and I kind of went, oh, I get it now. I kind of get it. I understood the whole time that the hippies were kind of like a parody of, a certain culture group that we recognize. But then there's a certain scene that happened, and I won't tell you what the scene is because I don't want to do any spoilers. That clicked in my head and went, okay, I get it now. I get it. And the show kind of like reached another level for me in terms of my appreciation for it.
Is it a spoiler to ask why it's called Murderbot?
No, I think that's in the trailer or whatever.
Okay.
It's actually, it's just in the first episode. So he has this attachment to a science fiction TV show that he likes to watch. Actually, now I don't know. I don't know if I'm remembering it correctly now. But he's trying to think of a name for himself.
Oh, okay.
And he goes through different names, but then he gets kind of attached to Murderbot because it sounds kind of, macho and kind of strong.
Or it doesn't kill things.
Oh, it kills things, but it's not like murder. I mean, that's its job. Like there's dangerous space creatures and stuff like that.
Yes.
But he starts off in the first episode before he ends up joining the space hippies in their research exploration. He's working on some minor colony, and the miners are just awful to him, And he has got an inhibitor thing that he's trying to hack. So like they torture him and do all this terrible stuff to him all the time. And so he has like fantasies about killing them all.
Yes.
And he calls himself Murderbot.
Right.
I gotcha.
Yes.
To me, the interesting part is once they started getting to where the foil in the show is this big evil corporation. that's doing all this stuff. It's all this sort of illegal stuff on the side and controlling everything and stuff. And you start to learn more about them, and they become kind of the big enemy that everything is kind of going against there. So there gets to be more kind of social commentary going on in the series as it goes on and that develops.
Yeah.
Is there like an obvious second season? Or is it just, could it be like a self-contained little thing that they did?
So they did, I think they did record. So the ending is, I think they did do an ending where they could wrap it up.
Okay.
It could be a way to wrap up if they didn't get a second season. But it was also, right, but it did. So, and it was also a way to transition to a second season if they did figure out a way to do that kind of ending. So,
okay. All right. So yep.
Oh, one more thing. One of the main reasons why I started watching it is because each episode is about 25 minutes long.
Oh, it's good. Yep.
And I was like, okay, if I don't like it, then I haven't really invested. You know, I could watch a couple episodes, and then but I ended up liking it. And so
that's a total real thing. Like the show Shrinking, which is fantastic, and everyone should watch it. But literally the reason why my wife and I started watching it one night is because like, oh well, this is only 26 minutes. Like let's give this a shot.
We do have
when you see like an hour and 3 minutes, like it's like, oh, like that's so long.
We have a dividing line in our home, but we have the short shows, which are all 30 minutes or less. You know, it's 22 if it was like a show made for TV where they're going to have commercial breaks, or 30-ish if it's streaming. And then there's the 1 hour or more shows, and they are on separate sides of a wall from each other. Like some are appropriate for certain times and things, and others you've got to be like, are we watching a long show tonight? That's like a whole thing. That is a whole thing.
It is. And it's got to be like super engaging. You know, like
these streaming services hard. Should really have navigation that like, is it a 30 minutes or less?
Yeah.
Like
it's true. I got to tell you, and this isn't part of this because it's Netflix, but I am dreading season 5 of Stranger Things because everything is like, it's like an hour 45 minutes or something.
Yeah, they go real long.
It's like I don't know if I really care that much anymore about these characters.
Did you, Roman, Murderbot is based off, I think it's a graphic novel, not a regular novel. Have you seen that or read it? Or
I have not. Have you, Jason?
No, I was just going to ask if you knew if it's faithful or if it's just loosely based or anything like that.
Yeah, I have not. I've been meaning to, but I haven't gotten around. Every time I think about doing it, I ended up not doing it. So, yeah.
It's called the Murderbot Diaries by Martha Wells.
Yes. So yeah, maybe if I'll finally remember that to pick that up at some point. So and give it a read.
Apple does a lot of things based on like books and stuff. Like I know.
Well, not just Apple, really, honestly. But
that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah, that's a commonplace, like sort of plumbed for content is books and graphic novels and stuff.
All right, I'll go in the middle because mine's more of a complaint than a thing.
Yeah.
So first, I'll plug one that my parents told me to start watching that I haven't yet. It's Your Friends and Neighbors, I think it's called.
Oh yeah.
With John
Hamm.
Yeah.
They
and
hate
Olivia
everything.
Munn and
like like modern TV for them. Like they have to like trudge through it because they don't like cursing. They don't like. But this show they loved. So
wow.
I was surprised too, when I read about it. I was surprised that they liked it so much. But they
it is chock full of those modern TV things that they hate. Like I don't know why.
That's what I assume too. But I'm definitely gonna watch it because I want to see what they liked about it so much. But they loved it. They finished it in like I don't know a week and a half or maybe less, and told me about it like several times that week. Like you should watch this show. It's really good. So Your Friends and Neighbors gets my parents' seal of approval.
It's good, and it has a really great opening sequence with a really terrible song. Like the music for the opening sequence is awful, but the visuals that they did of all these things like coming apart and stuff.
Is it awful in like a we know this is awful way? And
no. I mean, it's not meant to be camp. Nothing about the show is meant to be camp or whatever. It's it just My wife and I just hit mute every time because we just can't stand it.
I really want to see
both of us just think it's the wrong feel, it's the wrong vibe, funny. The wrong song. But the visuals are so cool. I think they're actually up for some award for the visuals for that opening.
For the just specifically the intro.
Yeah, for the title sequence stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a thing. All these streaming shows have fancy title sequences now.
Yeah. I remember Disney Plus when they did what was it? It was that terrible Marvel show, Secret Wars.
Oh yeah.
And they used an AI, like it was clearly AI, and they got they got a ton of crap for it from people. Oh. Yeah.
That whole show,
like AI visual. Yeah, that was terrible. Like I try to forget that ever existed. All right, so my rant about Apple TV Plus is, like on Saturday night, my family will watch. Like we'll pick a movie to watch, and my son's like 12 now, he's 13, and so we try to pick something that we'll all watch. And Apple TV, like their trailers lead you to believe that they have good stuff, and they don't. Like their movies are not very good.
Yeah. Oh, for the movies specifically?
None of them. Yeah. Like Wolves, I thought was going to be great. Brad Pitt, George Clooney, terrible. The one we just watched, I forgot what it is now. The Forbidden something. What was it? Hold on.
The Gorge.
Oh, we watched that too. That was also terrible.
That's bad. Yeah.
That was the most insane plot for a movie, and not even in like a this is so like wild. Like there was like so many things wrong with it.
They do have a movie problem. They have great content for a lot of series, but the movies are more miss than hits. The
one that I watched is
Fountain of Youth.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh God.
It's like like an adventure thing, and
it looks like a poor man's Indiana Jones.
It does, and I thought maybe like, oh, this will be fun, but no, they're not. Like none of them are. There's finally one that I really want to see in F1, and every single week, that's the first thing that pops up on my Apple TV Plus, and it's never like go to the theater and see it. I want to watch it on TV. You finally have a movie that's good that I want to watch, and you won't let me watch it, and they probably like. The estimation is like October, and it's like
it's going to be a while.
Like, come on, like you've established this kind of like we make content and we update it weekly and we have great, and then like the one thing I want to watch, I can't watch, or I can't watch it at home anyway.
I have seen F1.
Yes.
It's Top Gun with racing cars.
Sure. And I'm on board with that. Give it to me.
Yeah.
That's fine. I don't have a problem with the fact that it's a theater. I have a problem with the fact that it's like so heavily marketed.
Right. That's what it is.
Like that they're pushing that, like watch the trailer. I've watched the trailer 5 times. Stop telling me to watch the trailer. I'm done.
And it's like,
is there a button I can hit
this
that
is an
says,
Apple TV Plus thing, but it's not right now.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for Apple. I'm glad they have a hit. I'm glad they finally did something like theatrically that made them some money and was popular. And, maybe this will lead to better movies down the road. Sure. But man, let me watch it.
There were a couple movies early on that were good. I'm going to ask if you watched. Did you watch the Tom Hanks submarine movie? Not submarine, but submarine hunter movie.
Yeah. Way back.
Greyhound.
Yeah. That was okay.
That was pretty good. Did you watch Coda?
That was great. Yeah.
Yeah. Coda was great.
Yeah.
How about the
That
Banker?
Wasn't them though. That was like they bought that. And
most of these.
That was all like done and finished.
Yeah. Most of these aren't Apple Studios. Like most of them are bought. How about The Banker? That was one of the first. That was one of the opening things.
That was the one. I remember that one was delayed because there was something with the family and the background of the guy or something, and there was a whole issue there. I haven't seen that one.
That's excellent too. Yeah, that's worth it.
Okay, well, the ones I watched.
But you have to go. That one we're digging into the opening.
There's one more. The one with Mark Wahlberg. Like one of the worst things I've ever seen. What was that called?
Not Palmer. Palmer's Justin Timberlake.
Palmer was
right?
okay. That was a show, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was okay. That was.
Ghosted is another one that was terrible.
Yeah, I saw Ghosted.
Like
that was bad.
Name any Apple TV Plus movie. Like
and
they're
they
just
all
so
look
bad.
good. Like they have
all look slick,
well-known actors, and they look slick, and they look like, okay, I'll watch whatever.
The Instigators. Is that the Wahlberg?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe it was.
Oh, that's Matt Damon. I get those two guys.
How dare you?
Those two guys, I can't tell the difference.
How dare you? That couldn't be more.
Oh, it was called The Family Plan.
Oh, right.
And it was like a Christmas time. It wasn't a Christmas movie, but they released it in like December. Anyway, I'll stop and I'll let Jason do, because this is running too long. I'll let Jason do something that he actually likes.
I'm happy to see Platonic is back.
Okay. I haven't seen that either. I gotta watch some good stuff on Apple TV.
It's not a movie. See, there's plenty of good stuff that's not movies. Platonic's Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne, who both are great. But they play a couple of old buddies who were like thick as thieves, like in high school, college, and then hadn't seen each other for 10 years and completely grew apart and everything. And he's kind of grown up to be kind of a man child who runs a bar and is just like a super into beer brewmaster type guy. And she became a boring like housewife who's tired of her, I'm just a mom and I gave up my lawyer career and and they get back into each other's lives and are both the best and worst influence on each other, right? They constantly get each other into trouble and shenanigans and all this other stuff, but they also cause each other to like grow in important ways and stuff like that. It's a fun, again, under 30-minute
there you go.
Adult comedy, and this is
the second season, right?
So this second season just started a couple of weeks ago, and I'm glad to see it's back. I liked Seth Rogen a lot in The Studio. I don't know if you guys watched that.
Yeah,
it's
kind of
everywhere lately.
It got a ton of Academy Awards or Academy Award nominations, rather.
Not Academy Awards. What do you call it?
Oh, Emmy Awards, rather.
Yeah, TVs. The Studio was fun. It very like, if you're really into movies and stuff and Hollywood stuff, it's even funnier because of all the cameos they have and all the kind of tropes they make fun of and everything, but also just really well made. And Seth Rogen's kind of everywhere these days.
Yeah.
Doing that
stuff. He never
like,
really left. Like he's always kind of been popping around.
Yeah. But
he kind of like stoner movie days, and then
he started off
to more
the stoner in Pineapple Express and all these other kinds of the bad cop and super bad and all this other kind of stuff. And he's now doing more sophisticated stuff, but he's doing so much producing, right? Like whether it's the what do you call it? Help me out. The superhero one on Amazon.
Boys?
The
Boys and Gen V, and then like Invincible and stuff like that. Like he's all over as a producer and writer. But you're seeing him on a bunch of acting stuff, and he's getting to be good. He's getting to be not just that stoner guy.
Yep.
But he definitely plays a type. Like he's the Seth Rogen type. Like he's never going to be serious business guy. Like it's not his character. But yeah, any good adult comedy under 30 minutes, like I'm down. Platonic's back. I'm like, we're good. These are fun. They're not too serious. They're, Rose Byrne is always great in something.
I liked her in Physical. That was a short little series on Apple TV Plus when it first launched.
Mm-hmm. I think what they do 2 or 3 seasons of that or something.
I think 3.
Like that.
Yeah. All right, good. So
Platonic's good. Yeah.
If you're looking for recommendations, we got those, write them down, add them to your queue or whatever you want to do. All right, next up, we got This Week in Apple History. I am going to hand off to Roman to introduce it.
Yeah, so at the top of the show, we were talking about, I've been sitting on this transition mic. So at the top of the show, we were
for like an hour. That's pretty good.
Yeah. We were talking about, at the top of the show, we talked about new products. Now we're going to talk about one old product in particular. So we're recording this on August 15th, and 27 years ago, Today, on this day, 27 years ago, the original iMac started shipping to customers. It was announced earlier in the year in May, but wasn't officially released until this day 27 years ago.
That's the Blueberry.
The G3, right?
Yeah, the Bondi Blue.
Yeah. The Bondi Blue.
Yes.
And then like the next year they came out with all the fruit colors, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So that first iMac, it featured a 233 megahertz PowerPC G3 CPU. It had 32 megabytes of RAM. It had a 4 gigabyte hard drive. It had a 15-inch CRT cathode ray tube.
Yeah. And a big bulbous picture tube. Yeah.
Yes. It had a CD-ROM drive. It was the first Mac with USB. Some computer historians credit it as the computer that kind of
the catalyst.
The catalyst for USB.
Yeah. It had only
like CD
USB
and stuff. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It also had that round mouse that drove everyone crazy.
The worst design. Even worse than today's mouse, which is bad. Like,
Yeah.
That one was crazy. And what's funny about the Puck mouse, and it's still iconic, like it immediately when you see it.
Yeah.
Apparently, the reason why Steve Jobs wanted it was because he sat cross-legged on his desk and had his hand like this. And it's perfect for that ergonomic position, but no other way could you use it.
Oh, good.
It's terrible in every other way. But that's
my problem with it,
the lore there.
My problem with it is that being perfectly round, it could be slightly tilted and you wouldn't know it.
That's right.
And then when you try to go up, the mouse cursor goes diagonally. And that happened constantly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it had no point of reference. It had a cable.
It had the cable, but you could still be a little angled.
Yeah, you can
not
move it.
No.
Yeah.
There were little tabs you can hold on to, but you're right. It wasn't well designed for most people. No. Certainly not sitting at a desk.
It just looked good.
But man, the iMac was it just mind blowing when that thing started shipping, and it started you started seeing it like CompUSA and those stores. PCs were ugly back then. Beige and bland and boring, and this iMac was just wow. Apple sold a ton of them, obviously, and it you could credit it. Obviously the iPod helped, but you could credit the iMac with really bringing Apple back from the brink of bankruptcy to some semblance of relevancy in the PC world.
It was a hugely important part of when Jobs came back. He was like, well, in my absence, they made 30 different models of Macs trying to sell exactly the right sliver of Mac to the right sliver of the business community or whatever. And it's no. We're cutting it all down to a Mac and a Power Mac. That's it.
Yeah. That was the quadrant. That's
the
kicked off the famous quadrant.
Yep. Mobile desktop.
And it was the first i product too.
It was the first i product. It was called that because that was the days when getting on the internet was what you needed a home computer for. It was a big deal. And it had this integrated modem. You just had a little, was it, what do they call those jacks? Not RJ45 is Ethernet. So RJ26, RJ11, yeah. A little RJ11 plug. And you just plug your phone line right in there. And they had those commercials, with
Jeff Goldblum
There's no step 3. Remember? But it really was. You plug that in. There was software pre-installed. It was very easy to just get on whatever internet service provider you wanted. Those were the days when Internet Explorer was on the Mac. It was a wild.
That also helped save Apple. Microsoft gave them a bunch of money to install Explorer on the Mac desktop. Mm-hmm. I remember when Bill Gates appeared in Macworld, I guess it was New York, and he was booed. And Steve Jobs was like, "Oh, wait a minute!"
I know he's saving the company. They're bringing top-notch Mac first versions of all the Office stuff. And they're not going to be translations of PC stuff that can be made for Mac. and, just putting in stupid web browser, which to its credit, at the time, it was the best web browser anyway.
Yeah.
Right. And just like having that on there.
I mean, there was no Apple
saving
browser.
Our company.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, the iMac was what a time.
Seriously. And then it came out.
We got everything.
Yeah. Then they came out. Right. They came out with iPod was next. iPhone, obviously. iPad. Everyone thought Apple Watch was going to be iWatch, and that was like the dividing line, basically, when Tim Cook was like. And I wonder if, I'm sure there were conversations at Apple about should we call this the iWatch, and I wonder if Tim Cook was like, no, that's Steve's thing.
Maybe
all of the products are Steve Jobs and Johnny Ive, and let's move on from that. Apple TV was originally iTV as well, and that got changed because I think there was another iTV product or something, and they didn't want to have some
there was
dispute or trademark dispute.
Yeah, something like that.
But
they got away from whatever.
The iMac will forever be one of the greatest introductions, one of the greatest they call it Apple's second act, and that's really what it is. Steve Jobs coming back and just showing the world, yo, we are here and we're not going away. And look at this thing, because everybody's going to want one.
Yeah. And it's this simple one thing. You could just go into back then you had to buy computers in computer stores, and you could just go into your CompUSA or wherever you're buying a computer. Name your store that no longer exists. And you would go in there to Circuit City, and you would just leave with this box. Right. And you could easily get on the internet. Your parents could figure this out. It was simple. For sure. And I
remember King of the Hill had an episode where you bought one for Peggy, and she had no idea how to use computers, but she was able to use it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's just that was its claim to fame, but it was also it attracted people because of its design. And then it kept people because of how easy it was to use. And it was, what was it? It was $12.99. It wasn't cheap, but
for the time, that was a pretty cheap computer though.
Yeah. Okay.
We forget how expensive computers used to be.
That's true.
But it was, it wasn't going to break the bank. It was the kind of thing any suburban household could get if they felt like I'm missing out on this whole internet thing that I'm seeing on the news every night.
Right.
So that's this week in Apple history. If you want to read some more articles about the iMac, we got a few in the show notes. Some tidbits about the iMac, and a look back as the impact of the iMac on computer history.
Cool. And now I'm going to stick with you, Roman, because now we got our reader mailbag.
Yeah. So now it's time for the mailbag, where we discuss the feedback we get on social media and on videos and through email. Our first set of comments come from from our last podcast, where we talked about Siri and AI and Apple Intelligence. We posted a short video from that podcast where Jason asked, basically, why can't Apple just get autocorrect to work? And that
people had opinions about that.
People had
I'm shocked
about that. That resonated with a lot of viewers on TikTok. Quest on TikTok said, I can't stand when I type out a specific word and autocorrect completely changes it. Todd on TikTok, I said that because he has multiple O's.
There's several
O's. I was about to ask.
Yeah. He said, I was asking Siri for some basic measurement conversions, and half the time it asked if I would like to use ChatGPT to find the answer. How is it still so unreliable and useless? Dallin Baldwin on TikTok said, as a software developer, it is extremely annoying to see all these companies drop everything in their backlog to throw everything at AI, let all their software languish, and while they chase the current fad.
Sure. Yeah.
That makes some sense.
Yeah. Yep. And one last comment from Uncle Portland on TikTok, who said, they know their customer base better than anyone, talking about Apple, I suppose. But man, the way they just ignore basic requests from the consumer market, make autocorrect work.
Yeah.
Give it a bigger battery, even if
I don't know if they're ignoring it.
Yeah.
Because they always say they made it better.
I know.
You just don't.
So, but yeah, Uncle Portland wraps up by saying, are consumers that inconsequential? So,
I mean, I think Apple absolutely cares. You can see it in the development of iOS 26. Like, they responded to the criticism of liquid glass, and they responded to the criticism of the camera app. The camera app, they went back to the other way to do it. So they hear you. I don't think fixing autocorrect, or certainly not getting Siri to be better, is as simple as, a couple of keystrokes. I think they're very hard at work at these things.
Yeah. I definitely, the Siri thing, all right, we've talked at length about how they're just throwing out the playbook. They're building a whole new thing. It's going to take some time. I'm as frustrated as anyone else that they waited so long to do this, but okay. But the autocorrect thing, there's better autocorrect on other platforms, or even just with other keyboards. If you're going to go through the hassle of installing a different keyboard on your Gboard or SwiftKey or something like that on your iPhone, you can get better autocorrect. So that's just a core frustration.
Yeah.
That reader that said I type a perfectly good word and it changes it. It does that, and it changes it to a word that doesn't even make sense.
Sometimes
in the sentence, you don't even have to know what the words mean. It's just that's a noun. A noun doesn't make sense here.
That's the one thing that I agree it really needs to do better, is understand context. And so it has writing tools. So the ability is there. It's just the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing. And at one of these days, they're going to flip a switch and it's all going to be wonderful. I just don't know when that's going to happen.
Our last comment from the mailbag is from Merlin Wrightson, who's using the Mac OS Tahoe beta. And on Facebook, Merlin said that, I think for now, at least, there's not much to improve for either Mac iOS or Google Android. Batteries are the key, I reckon, not glassy icons, but it's just his opinion, of course. It's weird. So when I was sifting through the comments, a lot of people mentioned battery life. And the thing is, I don't think they're mutually exclusive. You can, it's software and hardware for one thing, but it's, all these companies, not just Apple, they're not just thinking, oh, well, we're going to ignore batteries and work on autocorrect. They're not mutually exclusive.
I mean, the iPhone lasts longer than ever. It's still not long enough.
Yeah, it's never long enough.
I think everybody knows that battery life is everybody loves battery life. Nobody's ever going to be upset that you made the battery last longer.
Right.
And it's the guys who work on liquid glass, they're not the same people that make the battery last longer. That is a completely different division and department. So Apple does probably better than anyone else at making at least their software run very efficiently, very power efficiently. And that's kind of all they can do, other than, all right, we're going to put bigger batteries in things. And I'm with you. Put bigger batteries in things. Let's go. So it's going to be interesting when that super skinny phone comes out and has less battery life, and we're going to find out how much people really prioritize. Well, it's so skinny versus wait, the battery keeps dying at 5:30.
Yeah. I think the thing too with battery life is that people are using older devices now.
Oh yeah.
And so they have older batteries that don't last as long. And they don't make the connection that they have an aged battery. That's why their battery life is suffering, not because of something the OS is doing or how you're using it does influence the battery life. But I think that's a lot of it, and people aren't making that connection.
There's a whole bunch of stuff over the last years. I mean, your battery has aged. They're putting in bigger batteries. The hardware is more power efficient. There's so many things, but that's the top thing I end up telling somebody they're running around with an iPhone 12. Like people who don't need to be. My dentist knows what I do for a living. and I see him twice a year. So he always asks me about whatever. And then he's like, do I really, I have an iPhone 12. This does everything I need. Do I really need a new iPhone? And I'm like, well, the main thing, if you buy a new iPhone, is it's going to take better pictures. But the main thing is that you care about is the battery's going to last like twice as long, easily. Right. You've been using that thing for 5 years. And even when it was brand new, it didn't last nearly as long as today's iPhones. Right. And that's the huge upgrade from everybody. Because iPhones, I'm sitting there scrolling through Facebook or Twitter or a web browser or seeing my text messages. They've been all able to do these things excellently for so long. The things that people do on their phones most of the time. So yeah, it's all about battery life.
It's all about battery. All right, Roman, you ready? I'm going to try to do this.
Okay, go for it.
That does it for this episode of the Macworld Podcast, episode 947. Thanks to Jason Cross.
Thank you.
Thanks to Roman Loyola.
Thank you, sir.
And thanks to the audience for tuning in. You can subscribe to the Macworld Podcast in the podcast app on Spotify, on YouTube, at the Macworld Podcast channel, or through any other podcast app. Comments and questions, you can send us an email at podcast@macworld.com or contact us through Blue Sky, Facebook, or Threads. Search for Macworld and any of those. If you see a bunch of them, look for the blue mouse logo. That's us. Join us in the next episode of the Macworld Podcast as we talk about everything and... I messed it up. Join us next week in the... I messed
Almost
up.
had it.
All right, here we go. Wait.
Almost had it.
Join us in the next episode of the Macworld Podcast as we talk about the latest in the world of Apple. See you next time.